An Auckland woman with a severely disabled son is begging the Prime Minister to intervene and keep respite services provided by Laura Fergusson Rehabilitation open. Mandy Brookland's son Blake can't speak or walk and is entirely reliant on his parents to look after him. In turn, they're reliant on 2 days of respite care every week to give them a break. But Laura Fergusson Rehabilitation, which offers residential care and respite along with rehab for stroke and brain injuries, is shutting its doors in Auckland, Waikato and Whanganui by August this year, citing a lack of funding as one of the main issues. Mandy Brookland says she's not sure where her son will end up and her husband's written to the Prime Minister asking for help. I asked her to tell me a little bit about Blake's condition and the care he needs.
He was born with a rare genetic syndrome called Cornelia-de-Lange syndrome, which is pretty rare. He has no speech, can't walk, he needs 24/7 care. He's 100% dependent on us. He has huge behaviour issues which cause self-harm. He has a lot of bowel issues which cause pain, and it also results in behaviour issues. It's difficult to handle. He needs a minimum of 2 people to bath him, which is an example of how hard he can be.
So in terms of caring for him, Mandy, this is in essence a full-time job for someone.
Oh, definitely. He's got to be watched and monitored every second because of behaviour. My husband actually sleeps on the couch so that he can, next to his bedroom, so that he can hear him in case he wakes up, because you have to attend to him quickly because he does self-harm. He wears hand and arm gaiters, but he can get them off. And if he does, he self-harms and hurts himself.
That must be, very intense for you as parents and also in terms of you ever getting a break.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult. And sometimes he's also nocturnal, so even though he's quite happy he's awake, so therefore we're awake.
So in terms of Laura Fergusson Trust, what kind of services does Blake get from them?
He goes there on a Monday. We drop him off about lunchtime, and he stays until Wednesday morning when my husband picks him up about 7 a.m. So they take care of him for two full nights, which gives us a much-needed break.
So how important is that service to you and him?
It's extremely important because that's the only actual break that we get. It's not only a mental and an emotional break, it's more of a mental and emotional break than the physical help. And it's also the only time my husband and I get to ourselves is when he's there, because we don't get any other help. So it's huge, just a huge impact.
What was your reaction when you heard that they're going to close those services down?
Oh, I was absolutely shocked. There was just no idea at all what he was getting, that this was going to happen. And it wasn't just us, it was everybody. There was nothing. We just attended a meeting. My husband attended a meeting on the Sunday, and they were told that this was all going to happen. We had no idea prior to that. I mean, I've been so stressed and upset over this. I've lost sleep. I've actually lost a bit of weight. But basically we thought this was Blake for the rest of his life. We thought we had it sussed. He is now an adult. This is his adult services. And we thought Laura Fergusson Respite was basically for the rest of his life. And just to be told it's ending, it's just heart-wrenching. It's just...
Do you understand why they're closing?
Not really. They've told us it's a funding issue, but then we do know now that it's not a funding issue, which is what they're saying. It's because they're saying that even if the funding issue was resolved, the decision's already made. It's just so stressful. I mean, we're not the only family. We're just one of the families that is affected. But personally, it's affected me in a huge, huge, huge way.
What do you do now?
We have no plans at the moment. Everything's all still up in the air. There's nothing in concrete. So as of yet, there's no plan. So it's just stressful.
No plan at all?
We've got a couple couple of, we had a meeting the other day where some providers were attended. Geneva Healthcare was one of them, but Blakey played up while we watched a video, and then I had to leave the room. My husband actually started asking questions and got escorted out. I never actually even got a chance to talk to anyone from Geneva. We were sent into a room with another provider. There's not enough funding for the care that Blakey needs. So basically we're still at a loss to the future.
Mandy, does that mean when you say that there's not enough funding for the care that he needs, at the moment he gets 2 days respite a week, is there a possibility that you will get less than that when you move to another provider?
That's a possibility. We haven't had anything in concrete offered to us at this stage, so.
And what would that mean for you and your family if his hours were cut?
Oh, a huge impact, because it's just such a huge importance that now our plan is to keep Blake at home with us for as long as possible.
Could you cope with that? If you lost part of that respite, could you cope with that realistically, your family? What would that mean?
I would just put extra stress in an already stressful situation. I mean, the respite is just vital. It's actually a lifesaver to us. And Heather McLeish, the CEO, when we had our meeting, her comment was, Laura Fergusson's only a small part of our life. I mean, that's how she looks at it, but to us, it's a huge part of our lives and very important.
What's your biggest concern here?
That we have nowhere where Blake's going to get good care. And he will just, I don't know, it's just all up in the air and very stressful.
Have you asked for help? Have you written to anyone?
We have written to, my husband's actually written to the Prime Minister, but as of yet we've had no reply. That sort of pretty soon after we were told the closure of Laura Fergusson.
So what do you make of that? No response?
Disgusting. It's like we feel like my child has no voice. We have to be his voice. And we're doing all we can to get people. We don't even know, who knows what's going on. I mean, is Jacinda even aware that this is happening? More than likely not. I mean, they don't need to be closing down places like this. They actually need to be building more places like this. It's just a huge lack of support.
So if you could speak to her directly now, what would you most want to say?
Keep Laura Fergusson open.
Do you think that anyone is looking out for you and your son in terms of services and government departments?
No, not really. We're not important to them.